Shalom YouTube, hey guys, it's Fletch. Welcome back to OTH. So this is the follow-up video to the new Harbor Freight Field and Brush Mower. And I do have a previous video to this out, and I'll add it to the suggested videos so that you can go and watch that. So hopefully I'm not repeating the information that I've already put out too much before. So the first video was just more of first look. This is what I got, this is what I'm experiencing, and after I've had a little bit more of a chance and opportunity to look at this unit, to inspect it and try to use it some more, I'm going to give you my thoughts and feelings about this unit and where this whole process is in right now. So without further ado, here are my thoughts. This looks to be, basically a pretty fair product. If it would have been executed a little better. And so a couple of things is, like, for me anyways, there's like three things that are major issues for me on this unit. The first is that it was shipped with packing grease in the gearbox right there on the PTO shaft, and then the gearbox on the transmission. And there was no updates in the manuals or anything like that. In speaking to the Quality Assurance Department at Harbor Freight, who contacted me because of my video, my first video, apparently they're now doing a 2-to-1 grease and oil mixture in those, and that is approved for that product, and apparently that's good to go. And I'm not saying I agree with that or disagree with it. I'm saying I'm reporting to you what Harbor Freight told me. So we have that. Secondly, the blade comes loose on this, for me anyways, far too often. And what I'm talking about is the way that this unit is designed, because there's no other freewheel on this. And so if you make positive contact with something like a huge rock or a tree stump or something like that, excuse me, it would just transfer the shock and the energy into the PTO gearbox, or possibly, down the shaft, something like that. More than likely just in the gearbox, but, it could lead to catastrophic failure. And so the way that this unit is designed is that when you hit something and it doesn't have any give, it just loosens the blade. And so that is the give, so to speak, that's been built into this system. And it's not like, I guess I'd say on your bigger field and brush mowers, like your pull behinds, where it's got a pendulum on there and a hinge, and it's just the cutting part that swings around. And so if you hit something solid, it just snaps back out of the way, and then you can stop real quick to prevent any further damage. These smaller units like this typically aren't designed like that, and so the fail-safe that they use is that when the blade hits something, it loosens the blade. So again, that's the fail-safe, is when the blade hits something, it loosens the blade, and that keeps it from damaging, catastrophically damaging the unit. However, that also means that you have to keep tightening the blade, and the only way to tighten the blade is to right here, take out this nut and this pin over here on the other side, that pin over there, and pull the whole blade off. And then there's a jig or an adapter, whatever you want to call it, that you put in the end of the PTO shaft right here, and that locks the end of the PTO shaft, and then you tighten the blade. Well, I've bent the adapter or the jig on there from trying to get the blade so tight so as to it wouldn't come loose. And what I'm experiencing anyways is that even just cutting, like some saplings and brush and different things like that, that even that is enough to loosen the blade. So, I mean, that's kind of it as far as the loosening of the blade. The third thing that I'm experiencing that I'm very unhappy with is the design. And here's what I mean. So if you look at this unit here, you can see that there's very, very little clearance right here on this uneven ground. Sorry, my dog's thinking I'm trying to play with her because I'm getting down close to the ground. So you see right here that, this is just like, right up next to the ground, and that digs into the ground. And if it's somewhat softer ground, what happens is that it gets hung up on that, and then the tires dig in, and it becomes a self-perpetuating problem, because as the tire digs in, it causes it to hang up on that even more. And you can see, you know, these tires got quite a bit of dirt on them from digging in, and it kind of ends up being like a rototiller, so to speak, in sorts, because the tires keep digging into the ground, and the more the tires dig into the ground, the more it gets hung up on there. And so the only way to get the mower out of that situation is to, you know, lift up on the handles and lift up the whole end of this and set the wheels out of the holes that it dug, and then, you know, push down on the handlebars and move the mowing deck over, and, you know, so kind of walking it sideways, so to speak. And the best suggestion that I could give to anyone in Harbor Freight is that you need to come up with a better way of implementing this back wall here. Maybe using, you know, like a very strong rubber, mud flap rubber or something like that, so that this whole back half here, you know, up to here, and then going all around the back, has some give to it. So if the tire, if you get, so number one, so that you don't get hung up, and then number two, so that the tires don't start digging in because you're hung up, then, like I said, it just becomes a self-perpetuating problem. The more the tires dig in, the more it gets hung up, and the more that gets hung up, the more the tires dig in. And I saw on harborfreight.com on the reviews of this, a gentleman, you know, had mentioned the exact same problem that I was talking about. But what he did is he put some wheels down there on the end of it. That way, if that started to happen, he could lift up, pull up on the handlebars here a little bit, and then the mowing deck would ride on those wheels, and it would clear the obstruction down here, and also, you know, allow the wheels to come up out of the hole that they had dug. And that seems like it might be a reasonable solution to me if you're feeling inclined to deal with that. Personally, I'm not. I just don't have the time to fiddle fart with this and to try to make what is right now a subpar product par. For me personally, this is where I shifted gears, and this just going into an Echo. I think this is a PAS 280, and I'll have a review of this coming somewhat soon, but just putting, you know, a big steel brush cutting blade on the end of it to cut, and not deal with this, because for me, you know, this is not working. This is not a viable product between the blade continuing to come loose and it getting hung up, you know, because of how close the back of the deck is to the ground. And in talking to the quality control department of Harbor Freight, they told me that has to be that way because of the ANSI, you know, safety standards. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. I'm not, you know, it's not in my bailiwick of experience. But that's what they told me, and they did also tell me that they were looking for, you know, some workarounds on that by possibly adding, you know, some malleable plastic or rubber down in this area here, so that the mower does not get hung up on the end of that. And I'm still waiting to find out from Harbor Freight as far as, you know, what they're going to do. As far at this point, I'd just like a refund, but I don't want to have to pay the shipping and handling on it, because, you know, it's not something that I just decided I didn't like. You know, it's that this product is not a suitable product. It does not meet the need that as it claims that it can. And so, as far as I'm concerned at this point, I'd like to just have a refund on the product. And I'm supposed to hear back from Harbor Freight in the next couple of days to let me know what they're going to do as far as that goes. Well, guys, that's all I have to tell you at this time. If something else comes up, I'll be sure to let you know. But as of right now, that's what I know. Those are my issues with this piece of equipment. And the best recommendation I could give you at this time is, in my opinion, this would be a pass right now. I would wait until you know for sure that the issues with the mowing deck and maybe even the blade. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that, but I certainly am. And then also, you know, getting figured out, you know, whether or not that's a good solution with 2 parts grease and 1 part oil, and just kind of go from there. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you. Hope you're having a great day. Shalom.